Hey explorers, it's Jessica, and today on Exploring the Local Life, I was going to talk to you about emergency preparedness when you are full-time RVing. As everybody knows, weather emergencies happen no matter where you are, whether you're in a home, whether you're RVing, if you're on vacation, all of these things. So you always have to be monitoring the weather and be prepared. Of course, the good news is if you are in an RV, your RV has wheels, which means technically you can get out of there if you have enough time and money. And of course, sometimes things work out where it's a surprise storm or you don't have the finances at the time to do it, you're stationary RVing, all of these factors come into play. So you always want to have everything that you need with you, so that way if there is an emergency, you are prepared and can weather the storm, regardless of all those other factors. Oh, and I also forgot to include that sometimes gas stations run out of all of their fuel, so be prepared in your RV. So I'm going to go run down this list of items that you need to have in your RV so that you can ride out the storm. Now, of course, I want to do a disclaimer here because they are doing lawn work here at this wonderful, magnificent RV park. So this ought to be fun. Okay, some of the items that I'm going to list, of course, are practical items that you would need to have in a home anyway, not necessarily related to RVing, but I'm going to mention them anyway. So the very first thing that you should definitely have in your RV is extra food. Keep non-perishables in your pantry if you have a large enough storage area, or if you have a tow vehicle of some sort or another vehicle, see if you can keep some of the stuff in there. Of course, we don't want to have extra space taken up by all these things that we're saving for later or adding to the weight. So try to figure out how it would work in your rig, how you can keep this extra food so that way you'll be prepared even when storms come up and you're not able to travel to the grocery store and things like that. So extra food, and figure out a way to keep it in your particular rig. Of course, water. We can't live without water. We gotta have it. And sometimes, depending on where we are, the water may get shut off, water lines may be cut. Who knows what kind of emergency we can run into where we need to have water. Now, of course, you have an onboard freshwater tank, right? So make sure that that is kept nice and clean and disinfected at all times, so that way you can keep refilling it and emptying out the water, so that way you always have good fresh water that you can drink. Coming through again. Now, in addition to your freshwater tank, you should also keep jugs of water with you, and you can get you can also keep collapsible water containers. Sorry, I've tried to say that like 50 times and it just wasn't coming out right. Collapsible water jugs, okay? And these you don't have to keep filled all the time, so that way you can collapse them down when you're not needing them. Of course, when emergencies come up, you don't always have notice, right? So it's up to you how you want to manage those and how much extra water you want to keep on hand. So having that freshwater tank filled up is always good because you can keep that all the time. Because I've been in RV parks where there's no emergency and they just turn off the water, and I don't even know until I go to turn on the water. So it's always good to have that anyway. So that'll give you a little bit of extra water, and then you can fill up those jugs, or while you're monitoring the weather, you know, there's all these pros and cons. You don't want to carry around like 100 gallons of extra water all the time, right? But at the same time, when you find yourself in an emergency, you might need that. So try to balance, you know, practicality with our emergency scenarios so that you can make sure that you are prepared and ready no matter what. There's people pulling in, so you might hear that sound too. This is RV living real life in a RV park when you're trying to do this when the sun's out. So, all right, the next item that I'm going to mention is fuel. You always want to make sure that you have whatever fuel you'll need for your vehicle. Now, we always keep extra diesel and extra regular gasoline with us at all times. Always exciting, right? Never a dull moment, RV living. Surprise! While trying to fill my fuel tanks, found this big old spider. And when we run low, we always refill it because you never know when you're going to run out anyway. And also, in case of emergency, we always have it available. Our truck runs on diesel, which is our escape vehicle and also our tow vehicle. And then we also have a generator, which runs on gasoline and propane. But yeah, and fill up those propane tanks, right? Because you still want to be able to cook. If you find yourself somewhere where you can't have electricity, you want your refrigerator to run maybe for longer without being plugged into shore power. So you're going to need that propane. So I mentioned generators. You want to have a generator. Now, some motorhomes have generators already built in on board, so you don't have to worry about having an extra one. But if you have a travel trailer or fifth wheel or some sort of towable vehicle, you're not going to have those. So I do recommend having a generator with you. They're not only handy when you are boondocking, but also in emergency situations where electricity is either cut off or you find yourself having to park somewhere and spend some time there that you weren't expecting, so you always have electricity. Now, of course, you may be like, oh, what about solar? Should I have solar? I recommend, yes, of course, having all your bases covered, and especially if you're into boondocking, having the solar is great. But if it's rainy and storming, you're gonna need that generator because your solar panels might not be capturing enough solar power to continue to keep everything functioning for you. And right along those lines of talking about energy, electricity, you'll want batteries, good batteries. So whatever your RV came with, replace them. Those are not great, the stock batteries. And if you're really, really, really looking at extending your ability to run everything off of batteries, go ahead and get yourself some lithium batteries. And of course, battle-borne batteries are the ones that you want to turn to for that. They will get you through whatever, even if your solar is out, maybe you've run out of gasoline, those batteries will maintain a charge for a really, really long time. Next thing I'm going to mention is an emergency radio. And we have this awesome one, hopefully that you're not being blinded by this, that we received for free, yes, from this company, Sunglife. Okay, and this is, I'm going to be honest with you, I really thought it was going to be a piece of garbage. I thought it was going to be like way too light and that it wasn't going to do anything, but actually it is light, but not ridiculously like light, like garbage light. It has a solar panel. It has a light that actually, like, well, it's daytime, so you're not gonna be able to see it, but it really actually shines really well. It runs on batteries. You can also plug it into a regular outlet, and you can use it to charge your devices in an emergency situation. And of course, it's a radio. So all these things are win-win, win-win, win. It also has a hand crank, which, so all kinds of things. And it also runs on batteries. So it's got like basically every way to be able to run this when you need it so that you can be connected and hear important messages for your emergency situation. So keep one of these. We like this one. We're excited to have it. And of course, we're gonna have a link to this if you want to purchase it. And we'll actually have links to everything that we've mentioned, so that way you'll have a little shopping list as well. And that'll be, of course, in the description. So keep an emergency radio. You never know. Your TV may be out, who knows, but radio stations keep playing and they're gonna have the emergency information you need for your local area to keep you safe. So of course I'm trying to film my emergency preparedness video and I get all distracted by these gorgeous guys. I heard them before I saw them. I wish they would start chittering or whatever noise they were doing. It's crazy. So there's two of them. Don't know if they're male and female. I've never seen these before. Oh, darn it. Okay. Show's over. Now here's one that's hard for Robert and I. Keeping cash. Keep cash, because in an emergency situation, you don't know what credit card machines are going to be down, what readers are going to be down, and you're still going to need to probably pay for stuff. So have cash so that way if you find yourself in an emergency, you're still able to get the things that you need regardless of what is running and not running. So keep cash. Now, what if you have to leave your RV behind? What if you have to take whatever vehicle you have that's either the tow vehicle or your towed in the back that you normally pull along on your motorhome? Do it. It's really not worth it. Even if you're like, Jessica, I can't afford to leave my RV, this is it. It's better to leave your RV behind. You'll eventually be able to replace it. Nothing is more important than your life and making sure that you and your family are safe and away from whatever storm may be coming or is on its way or is already there. Make sure when you do leave your RV to take all these emergency supplies that I listed out in this video, because you don't know where you're going to end up. You're not sure how long it's going to take you to get wherever you are. Who knows what the traffic situation is going to be like. You don't know. You might end up in your vehicle somewhere on the side of the road for an extended period of time and not knowing. So having all of these different devices with you, the extra food, the water, and all that stuff will help to keep you safe during that time, to make sure that you're able to connect with people and get the help that you need. So I really hope that this video helped you out. If you have any questions or comments, please leave them below, and also any recommendations that you have when you have faced your own emergency situation. So thank you so much for watching. Don't forget to hit the bell to subscribe, and of course check us out on Patreon to help support us, and also to find out what other stuff we have going on. All right, thanks.